Hello and welcome to TV9 Digital. I'm Abhijit Singh Bhamra. Yesterday wasn't the best of days for Indian cricket team and also for its fans as the national team lost to New Zealand in the World Test Championship final by 8 wickets. New Zealand deservedly went on to not only lift the ICC mace and also proved that they are a force to reckon with in the ICC Test format. And to talk more on the final, on the defeat, what went wrong for Team India, what could they have done right, I am joined in by former Indian cricketer Sadanand Viswanath from Bengaluru.
Well, it's a case of praising New Zealand all the way. Right from the outset, right from the start of the match, their planning was meticulous, their execution was marvelous, and they never once looked like losing the match. They never let the match slip away from them. And we were talking about the process of victory. And New Zealand proved to the entire world that victory comes about only when there's a process. So they executed their plans really well. Their fast bowling unit bowled, fired on all cylinders. And in the end, Ross Taylor and Captain Kane Williamson, the experienced pair that they are, comfortably batted it out and made New Zealand emerge as the deserving World Test champions.
Well, it's easy to introspect once the game has ended, but one area where you feel that Team India could have done a little better?
A lot of soul searching will take place, Abhijit. Not just one area. There'll be a lot of areas where India will have to do a lot of soul searching. And we've got 1 month's time. There will be a lot of discussions being taken place. We'll have to go back to the drawing board. We'll have to look at the middle order. We'll have to look at the bowling options. And we'll also have to really look at the team composition. Not just the playing 11, but probably even the playing 15.
And also, let's also dig into what Captain Virat Kohli had to say at the end of the test match, rather the WTC Final.
Endeavour from here on will be to try and score runs and not worry about getting out and, in testing conditions. That's the only way you can score and put the opposition under pressure. Otherwise, you're just literally standing there, hoping that you don't get out, and eventually you will because you're not being optimistic enough. And I think you have to take more risks and calculated risks and be confident about taking those risks against a quality bowling attack like New Zealand.
Could Indian team have done anything different? Rather, I'm talking about the approach in the second innings. In the first innings, the mindset just wasn't there. It was more about survival against top-class, disciplined New Zealand bowling. But could the team management, the coach, the captain could have looked into their approach in the second innings, especially that they had to survive and score as well, as at least in the first session yesterday?
Yeah, absolutely true. When you're trying to survive and, ensure that the match ends in a team draw, then you've got to ensure that you at least bat up to the tea session. And instead of that, batsmen threw it away. They committed harakiri and we were all out for 170. We should have batted long and we should have at least got about 240, 250 runs. Virat Kohli himself says that they were about 40, 50 runs short. Yeah, 40, 50 runs short, and then we also bat out a few more overs, and that would have left New Zealand with a very slim chance of winning. But in the end, 53 overs and 139 runs to win. It was a very easy target for New Zealand.
So Virat Kohli has hinted at overhaul of the test side, and what he's said is that you need to have the right people with the right mindset. I mean, like, all these kind of statements, are these even necessary now, given that you have 5 test matches coming against England and these are the boys which will be your core of the side, and rather pointing fingers, it is time for Virat Kohli to take responsibility of the loss?
Yeah, we have to take into consideration that we've got the 5 test matches coming up. And yes, Virat will have to keep the team as a, closely knit family. We'll have to have a lot of team bonding. And Virat knows what he's doing. He's at the helm of affairs. So he is cracking the whip and he's ensuring that the boys pull up their socks and put in a better performance when they play the test matches in England.
And what does this statement do to the mindset of the rest of the players? It is very much clear that Team India faltered, especially in the batting department, both in the first and in the second innings. And you have some of the senior pros like Rohit Sharma is there, Cheteshwar Pujara, Ajinkya Rahane, Ravindra Jadeja is also a pro now. You have Ravi Ashwin. So there is no lack of experience. So do you think that the Indian batsmen rather allowed the New Zealand bowlers to dominate?
I don't think we allowed them to dominate. They were just relentless. They just kept on coming at us, the 4-man quadrant. Each of them were bowling right arm over the wicket, left arm over the wicket, right arm around the wicket, right arm, there a lot of variety. And that was quite confusing for the Indian batsmen, and they never really batted to a plan. Not even a single Indian batsman scored 50 runs. The highest was Ajinkya Rahane, I think, with 49.
Yeah.
And there were only two 50s in this match, Conway and Kane Williamson.
And also one more important thing which Virat Kohli also stated was that, despite the result of this WTC final, they are not too bothered or not too worried about the loss, because they know the kind of team they are, the kind of potential they have, and the kind of results this team is capable of producing. We all witnessed what happened after the Adelaide Test match. So do you really see a turnaround in events, keeping into mind the England Test series?
Well, the conditions will be favourable for England. We've had a bad memory of a previous tour of England. We have lost 4-1. So we've got to really be watchful this time and approach the game in a very meticulous manner, the way New Zealand went about their approach in the WTC. And I think Virat Kohli and our boys will have to get their act together.
And also, given the fact that this WTC final is a culmination of all the top teams playing over for a period of 2 years, 2.5 years, and then you have one final. Is one final theory just enough to decide who is the best Test team in the world, or should there be a couple of matches, or even a 3-test series or a 5-test series?
It's very debatable, because given the calendar and given the preparation and given the the calendar of the cricket, it's not easy to have 3 matches or 5 matches. And what happens then if a team wins 2 matches and they're leading 2-0? What happens to the third match? So all these factors will have to be taken into consideration. But yes, I guess like the great players say, including Sachin Tendulkar and Ravi Shastri and even Virat Kohli himself, I think they all have suggested that it can be made into a best of 3 affair.
The argument to that could be, sir, that it's such a momentous occasion. It's the ultimate test. You have, in case you have only one final for such a huge occasion, that just doesn't do justice to the potential both these sides have, because one good spell in either session and one good batting session could turn the game on its head, isn't it?
Well, that's why it's called the ultimate test. You can look at it on the other way. It's the same side of the coin, duties and responsibilities. Yeah, so the best team in the world will have to get those chances in. They'll have to convert those semi-chances. They'll have to bowl that fantastic spell. They'll have to play that match-winning innings. So that's why even a one-off game will be very exciting. And that's what happened over here between New Zealand and India. In almost just about 4 days, New Zealand went on to create a sensational victory.
And the winning captain, Kane Williamson, has also stated at the end of the day that India is a quality side, and winning a test match, or rather a WTC final against a top side like India, only makes this victory even more special, and they deserve all the celebrations.
Certainly, New Zealand is a sporting nation. They really deserve to be the winners of this WTC. They are just a small population of 5.1 million people, and they have only 6 teams in their domestic circuit. So it just goes to show how well knit their structure is. They have a good nucleus, they have a good bunch of talented cricketers, and these are the cricketers who represent India, who represent New Zealand, and they have done an awesome job for their country.
One last question. In hindsight, do you think India got its playing 11 wrong, given the conditions?
I don't think so. I think we played the best playing 11. Well, in retrospect, in hindsight, we can always have lots of excuses, but absolutely no excuses. Virat Kohli and Ravi Shastri picked the best possible playing 11, and we lost fair and square. Hats off to New Zealand. And let's hope that our Indian boys pull up their socks, and we have to have better performances from the Indian team, because they all are quality players, and they've all played fantastic cricket all over the world. They've got a lot of experience, but now is the time that they become accountable, and they will have to have their results showing very soon.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Sadanand Viswanath, for all your inputs, and we look forward to your company in the upcoming England Test series as well. Well, as sir said, that New Zealand defeated India fair and square, and they deserve all the celebrations in the world. And as far as Team India goes, they will have to come up with better goods, better batting performance, and also bowling performance in order to ensure that they give a tough contest to England in the Test series starting in July. Well, that's all what we have for you in this special edition of the World Test Championship Final. For all the news and updates from India and around the world, keep watching TV9 Digital.